Cicadas are in full force today.
Well, if mine were open, you could see like the lights around our pool. That's it.
Ladies, we're live. We're going live now.
Don't let the alluring voice fool you. I'm a lethal killing machine.
Always believed in freedom of the press.
Excellent work. Quit now, and cake will be served.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy cake?
I am the instrument of justice, and I cannot fall.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStack podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. You're listening to episode 4. This is our 4th episode in like what, 4 years, I think, maybe. I am your co-host Vendertron. You are all listening to episode episode 4, Damed If You Do, Damed If You Don't. And this is a lovely episode. We have all the dames with us. Joining us this evening is, of course, Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hello.
We also have Sleep is 4T, a.k.a. Jessica Starr. Hello, Jess.
Hey, Vendor. Greeps, everybody.
Sarah Saylor. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Foxit, or Sherry. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
And Jen, a.k.a. Pantagrulia. Hello, Jen.
Hi.
How's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's so nice to have all of you here again.
So happy to be here.
How's all of your weeks been? Terrible.
It's been a week.
Got it. Okay, good.
7 days have passed.
Oh,
Yes.
man. Does
The
anyone
usual number.
do any of you have snow yet?
I
Yes.
wish.
Yep.
I have
Mhm.
no snow, and they're actually thinking that there's not going to be any snow here for.
What?
Yeah, it's like drier than a popcorn fart. And
Drier than a popcorn fart.
yes, don't light any matches. Don't turn on any Christmas lights. You will burn down the whole province. Yeah, we haven't had
Oh
any
my
more
gosh.
yeah, it's like weird.
We actually had a snow day from work yesterday. So my job got canceled.
Mm.
Oh, wow. That's some serious snow then.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was very fun.
I wish my job would get canceled.
But what
Like
is
seriously, that like if it snows and like we have bad weather, and we do have really bad roads here, and we don't really have the infrastructure for it.
Mhm.
So
for
like,
clearing?
yeah, and there's
Shalene,
like
what is considered like a bad snowfall for you?
For me personally, I would say like in excess of 8 inches is a pretty
That's
bad
a lot.
snow.
Yeah, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you
But
can't
bad
drive through
enough to
that,
get
so-
my job canceled is probably about. It's really the ice more than the snow that gets
Yeah,
work
it's the
canceled.
ice. Yeah. Ah, it's so nice to have everyone here. We do have a jam-packed show. I mean, I really want to sit here just for the rest of the night and like catch up on all of your lives because I'm very interested in hearing what you've been up to lately. So hopefully that will come through in some of your gaming stories. Welcome to everybody coming into the chat, joining us for the live show this evening. We love that you can join us live, and if you can't join us live, that is okay. You can always listen to the recording after the fact. You can find the VOD on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames, or you can catch the recording when Shalene posts that to all the various podcast platforms.
I'm sorry. We're like 4 weeks behind right now. I'm sorry about it.
It's okay.
Yeah, life has been hard. But I'm working on catching up.
I like somebody in the Discord today posted like, I'm finally caught up on all the shows, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're just caught up on where yeah. But yes, so the show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Join us live every Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. And do we have any new stuff in the Discord? What's going on in the Discord this week, Shalene?
You always ask me this, and I'm never prepared for it. You posted a fabulous photo of some sushi earlier, and then we were talking about wrecking on the treadmill because of reading books in the health channel.
Yes.
So
you should do audiobooks at the gym.
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
do
do?
audiobooks at the
Oh,
gym.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
audiobooks.
that. I love that.
There's also this really cool thing. They call them podcasts. I like to listen to those at the gym as
Oh,
well.
do you know any good ones?
Well, I've heard there's this one called GameStack.
Oh,
Big fan. Big
Hmm.
fan.
okay. I'll have to give that a listen. Oh, I like that our studio producer dangles some books in front of you while
Yes.
you're on the treadmill at the gym.
Yeah, he said okay. So Archon has been bribing me with books to go to the gym, and the system we've set up is that if I go to the gym 5 days in a row, or not in a row, but 5 days during the week, then we go to the new bookstore and he buys me a book. And if I make it for 4 days, we go to the used bookstore and he buys me a book. So, yes. It's been working pretty well so far.
That's such a good incentive.
It's a
That's
big motivator.
amazing incentive. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I love the idea of a book on like a fishing rod, just like dangled in front of you. Forward, Shalene. End of the week. Forward.
Hollywood.
Exactly.
Well, we do
Now,
have Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Is it a book of your choosing, or is he choosing the books?
I choose the book. Although last week he did choose a bonus book for me, which was fun. So
That's great. Well, we do have a jam-packed show. Let's get this show on the road. We do have quite a bit of news. It is December 1, which means new releases. So we've got a big stack of games that we have to talk about as well. We are going to talk about the stocks. We have a schwack load, as I like to say in Canadian terms, of pictures from the screenshots and stories, and also a recap from the last GameStack challenge, which I've thrown into this episode so that we don't get too far behind on the Thanksgiving topic. And then we're going to cap things off with everybody's gameplay. So let's roll into it with this just in. And I'll hand it over to you, Shalene.
okay, well, as always, shout out to Joseph Tao. I just managed to mispronounce Joseph Tao. That was terrible. Shout out to Joseph Tao. We appreciate you putting together the news for us every week, so that we don't miss anything good. And we are going to start off with our new games for December, the new releases for December list. Does one of our guests want to tackle this?
Absolutely. I'll read them if no one else wants to.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jess.
because I normally have to do
Okay.
it, so thank you.
Anything to save you. Okay, well, we're starting off with a bang because we have Batman, Arkham Trilogy coming out on Switch December 1st. Then we've got Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, also December 1st. Wow, that's a big day for games. Finally, SteamWorld Build coming out for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Series Switch, and PC on December 1st. And that's SteamWorld Build. Is that a sequel to SteamWorld Dig? Do we know this?
Oh, this looks cute.
I believe it is related. Yes.
I like it.
Sounds fantastic. Any game that has the word build in it kind of has my attention. Okay, going on. We've got a Highland Song coming to Switch and PC
really
on
good.
December 5.
Really
Does
good,
it?
by the
Highland
way.
Song? Do you have video for that one?
I can in a moment.
I
Okay.
wonder what that's about. Is that like the Scottish Highlands?
Yeah, so basically it's
Oh,
like
that looks so cute.
basically you're like it's a side scroller and it's very Kingdom Hearts. Valiant
Oh, it's a
Hearts.
3D.
Valiant
So it's a side scroller, but it's
Mhm.
kind of like that 2D, 3D look, almost like they've been doing with like Octopath and such, where
Oh
you've
my
got high
gosh, I
definition
am
backgrounds
for
and real
this.
depth to it. It looks beautiful.
Just noticing
Stunning.
now.
Is
that,
there a rhythm aspect to it? I noticed the musical notes popping up as she does platforming.
yeah.
Well, it's called a
and
Highland song, so probably I'm thinking it could be musically based. Oh my gosh!
I think
I wanna
I'm
play
gonna
this
need to
now.
Play this. This looks so good. Oh, she's
Apologies.
skipping stones.
Apologies to our listeners. I did not have the display capture up for that. But there is the game, Highland Song. Check it out on Switch and also, what was the other platform?
It's coming out on Switch and PC and coming to all platforms, something I know a lot of people have been waiting for. Disney Dreamlight Valley gets an official release on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series consoles, Switch, PC, and even the Macintosh.
I haven't played that in a long time.
Disney really wants to take a bite out of
Like
Apple, so that's how they're doing it.
Macintosh 2?
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
The old 6-inch floppy disk? You need about 21 of them to run the game.
What I want to know is, did Whoopi Goldberg ever get to play Diablo on Mac? Did that happen?
Oh yeah,
is
that's
that a
right.
thing she
was
wanted?
Complaining about
Yeah,
it, like,
she was
last month or
really
something.
upset because she couldn't play Diablo on Mac. So,
That's someone needs to teach her how to do a dual boot and get that going.
That's because people who play on PC don't play on Mac.
I mean, I feel like she could just send one of her minions out to build her a brand new PC and start up Diablo, so all she has to do is walk up to it and press go. But,
can't you play it on Mac now? I think there would be a Mac version, wouldn't there?
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google this now.
Yeah, now we have to know. So Diablo 4, I'm guessing not.
Play Diablo 4 on Mac.
Some of the older ones may have been ported.
Diablo 4. You have to use Boot Camp.
Yep. Okay, so it is Boot Camp. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a pain.
Let's keep on going down the releases because we have.
Because it was good. Sorry. She said Boot Camp, and she's like, that would be a pain. And it's like, that's really good. Okay. As you are.
Next up, we have Skater XL coming to Switch December 5th as well. The Sonic Dream Team for iOS. The Anacrusis coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. The Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria, December 5th. That's on PS5. And Vampire.
I feel like that could be like good or bad. The last Lord of the Rings and how terrible that was.
Yeah, well, Gollum.
I mean, heard bad
that was
things
the worst.
about Return to Moria as well.
Oh,
Same,
really?
because it's still the same studio, right? They've been working on it separately, but
I thought it was a separate studio. Was it the same?
I'm checking now. You know what? I may be wrong. It may be. Oh no, it's from Epic. Okay, it's being published by Epic at least. I'll need to look more into this one. I'm surprised I haven't heard about it much, but I haven't. I do think after the travesty that was Gollum, that some people have been kind of sleeping on this one, maybe. Like, we'll see when we see, but don't get up your hopes. And then finally, on December 5th, we have Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. That one doesn't get a colon because respect. Yeah, so that's coming to Switch. Swan Song is interesting. I don't know if you guys know this one, but it's a Vampire the Masquerade game that's a little bit more of a narrative adventure again. Not quite as much as the Shadows of New York and Coteries of New York series, which were very much visual novels. This is more a 3D-ish kind of Telltale style adventure. Not the best, but it was decent and kind of cool to bring it to Switch.
That sounds fun.
Moving on, we have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series console, and PC on December 7th. Lego Brick Tales. Oh, that sounds great. It says Quest. Lego Brick Tales: Quest. Is Quest the the Oculus. Okay, or the other one, MetaQuest. Yeah, okay. Awesome. December 7th. Yeah. I love the idea of a Lego game in
Isn't there like a Quest 3
VR.
now, though? When they say Quest, do they mean just like all of the versions of Quest?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that some of the older ones are becoming, less usable.
Yeah.
But I'm sure with a slightly lower adoption rate, they need to make sure to appeal to as broad of their audience as they can.
Yeah.
And then Outer Wilds, awesome game coming to Switch on December 7th.
That would be really good on Switch.
It's such a fun little time loop game for those who haven't played. Got a good story. It's a mystery, a lot of free roam. And I feel like fans of No Man's Sky would like it, just like the art style and vibe of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever?
It's good.
Did you? You played it? Awesome.
Yeah, I think RTZ gifted me that last Christmas.
Cool beans. I feel like it might have even been on the GameStack Awards, at least some kind of mention or nomination 2 years ago when it came out originally.
I mean, your guess is as
I've
good
heard
as
of
mine.
it, but I can't visualize it.
So Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds came out the same year and caused
Yes.
all kinds of consternation because
I know,
one's
right?
an RPG and the other is like this cool adventure. It's a space time loop adventure mystery game. It's wonderful.
Like,
really
how many-
adorable. Blow
How
your
many
mind.
How many kids ended up getting Outer Wilds for Christmas and not Outer Worlds, right?
Right.
But I mean, at least it was a good mistake to make because both games are fantastic.
Yes,
So
you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. So
Yeah, you can't. You're absolutely right. You kind of can't go wrong with either. Speaking of games that, well, the jury's out on, Terminator: Dark Fate dash Defiance, because the more words you add to a title, the more SEO you get. I don't know. Coming to PC December 7th. The day before, coming to PC on December 7th. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties: Definitive Edition, coming to PlayStations, Xboxes, Switch, and PC December 8th. Bear and Breakfast, coming to PS4 and PS5 December 12th.
that's what you have after the gay bar the next morning. Sorry, I could say that because
Absolutely, yes, probably in that order, but however. Also, Hammer Watch 2, PS5 and Switch on December 12th. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, coming to iOS and Android December 12th. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rise versus Rising. Are they versus the Rising or versus the colon? This is very weird.
I don't know about a colon rising. That sounds awful.
Absolutely. It's going to PlayStation 4, 5,
I think
and
they make
PC.
medication for that now.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
probably do.
And probably a cream.
House Flipper
And
2.
ointment.
House Flipper 2 is coming to PC. Yeah, I know Sherry is all about the House Flipper.
Yeah, I do. I like that.
That's December 14th. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet: The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero dash the Indigo Disc,
Wow.
coming to, of course.
Is it a
That is-
contest now? How
is-
many
that
sections
is-
can
that
we
is
split
not-
the title into?
It's not a game title. That is a short story, Shalene.
That is a haiku.
Yes.
Like this is
I feel like they're giving away everything like right there in the title.
Yeah, you don't even need to play it now.
Exactly. We know everything that's going on.
so.
I
What
feel
I
like-
want to know though is the Indigo Disc, is that the hidden treasure of Area Zero, or are these two separate MacGuffins?
That would be really giving it away, though. The Indigo Disc, if that's the hidden treasure, like, why are they telling us?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
I see
it
what
probably
you're doing,
is.
Pokemon. I see what you're
Maybe
doing.
there's a hidden treasure and Area Zero and an Indigo Disc.
Can we maybe involve some more shades of color in this title? We have Scarlet, Violet, and Indigo.
I think it could use some green or maybe a little
Mhm.
orange.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yes.
I would like to play Scarlet and Violet: The Hidden Treasure of Acceptable Frame Rates. That would be nice. This is coming out December 14th, and I believe it's an expansion to Scarlet and Violet. And Resident Evil 4 Remake, obviously, coming to Mac and iOS. So there's a game you can play on Mac.
Yay.
December 20th, and Resident Evil 4 Remake, supposedly a great remake, and up for a Game Award in just a couple
Somebody get
days.
Whoopi Goldberg on the phone.
Mm. I do like that the new releases stop at December 20th. I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that developers are not going to be working over Christmas, but at least they won't have to deal with new releases during the Christmas season.
That's because they know everybody's going to be broke.
Yes.
Can we just rewind for a second to this plumbers don't wear ties thing? I've never heard
Uh-huh.
of this game, and I just looked it up. And it's like it said it was, according to the Wikipedia, it was one of the worst games ever.
No,
Whoa.
Getting a
what?
definitive edition, yeah.
Okay, pull it up on OpenCritic, because
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, this is
That
bad.
is sure some
This
game
is like
art right there.
Microsoft clip art. Like, I
Oh,
don't
wow.
even know.
Can
Watch.
somebody
Watch.
describe
This game is
that's
gonna
the
be as
vibe,
popular
though.
as- It's going to be as popular as PUBG. Just watch.
You
Everybody's gonna
realize
play it.
video toaster graphics are basically Gen Z memes. So, like, hello, it's really
Right.
appealing to the crowd.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So just to give our audio folk a little bit of context, we've got some like photos of people like and they're it's incredibly cheesy. I can't.
And look at who's all commenting. We've got Jared Petty. We've got people from Video Game History Museum. I've seen a few others that I recognize. Like,
We have some bad
it's Limited Run
wigs.
Games putting it out.
Okay,
No wonder if
okay.
it's LRG. Okay, I'm excited. This sounds like a piece of history,
She's gonna
and I
play
think I
it.
need to play it. Yeah,
She's gonna
I
play
do.
it, and then it's gonna be like her game of the year.
The key art for this
Yeah.
game is just it's this wildly muscular dude wearing a tie, and that's all he's wearing on his torso, and he's doing
Well, that's
like
all he
air
needs to
guitar with
wear.
a plunger. And there's a man in a chicken suit and a
Oh,
lady
no.
with shoulder pads who is looking really offended. The game is rated M17 plus, so there's a lot going on here. It's a lot going on.
I'm pretty sure that picture was taken outside of our local Walmart.
Okay, so I've looked up the history on this, and this makes perfect sense. And you know what? It actually might have been, Sarah, because it is originally an adult-oriented romantic comedy visual novel dating sims, originally published for the
Yeah.
3DO interactive multiplayer. So
Yeah.
it had a Windows version, but limited distribution. So yeah, they are just bringing this back, limited run, doing what they do best. I'm actually really excited to see this.
This is I'm speechless, frankly.
Well, I mean,
Speechless.
what I want to know is why do plumbers not wear ties?
Right?
Like,
Is it-
what?
Is it because it's, I don't know.
I think
like
it would be
it's
a
gonna get caught in their
hazard when they have to
winch.
work on a garbage disposal.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
Or a
makes sense.
toilet.
You don't want to
Like
get
you could
strangled.
die.
It gets
That's a very valid point. Like, if you've got to
Mm-hmm.
work on a toilet, you don't want your tie getting all up in that gunge.
exactly. And what
No,
happens if
just
your
hang
tie's
in
in the
the bowl.
toilet and you hit the flush and then,
Well,
You're dead.
whatever the reason, they'll probably tell us definitively. So yeah.
Well, it
you
is-
get back with us on that, Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah, please do. If you play it, let us know why it's considered to be quote unquote the worst games, one of the worst games of all time. That's what it says. I didn't write it.
I mean, we
Wow.
know video game reviews are like more like The Onion, so
Yes.
There
With
is
many
that.
layers.
yes.
Well, that tagline, "the worst game ever," is going to sell the game to certain freaks who
Of
love
course.
bad
Yeah,
games.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, we do also have our free, quote unquote, free games with services for the month of December. Do you want to tackle those as well, Jess, or should we pass that to somebody else?
Oh, I didn't even see that we had free game releases.
We
So
have PlayStation Plus and Amazon Prime.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do the PlayStation Plus monthly games. So I'm just going to go through these ones quickly. We've got Lego 2K Drive. We have Power Wash Simulator, a very satisfying game. We have Sable. Oh my gosh, I love Sable's art style. Sable is a lot of fun.
I think
That was
that's it.
previously on Game Pass, so I played it there, but I'm glad PlayStation Plus is getting it.
Have any of you tried the Power Wash Simulator Back to the Future
No.
extension? They made a
No.
Back to the Future like DLC for Power Wash Simulator, and you can
Mhm.
like power wash the DeLorean, and you can power wash
The clock.
the steam train, and the clock tower, and it's just like and I'm
Set
like,
your
"That
power
is
washer to
amazing."
88 psi. That's when the magic
Exactly.
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
And over on Amazon Prime Gaming, we have Deathloop headlining it. That's amazing. Deathloop coming out on December, free games for Amazon Prime. And big announcement coming up, the Game Awards, next big show coming out Thursday, December 7th from 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Are any of you going to watch the Game Awards?
Well, do we even know? We just know that Baldur's Gate 3 is just going to sweep up everything.
Yeah.
Why do we need to watch
You're not
it?
I
wrong.
usually catch the tail end of it. Bishop, my husband, and my son Toby, they watch it every year, and then they tell me everything that happens because I usually
so
have
you
to
don't
work.
need to
So
watch it then. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I usually do. Last year was the first year I've skipped it since Jeff started doing his own separate show. I skipped it and just watched a number of highlights because it was, long again. And I heard that there were less awards than usual actually given on stage, that they really emphasized the promos even more than usual. And I could just catch that by watching the trailers and, watching the IGN highlight reel and such. So that's all I did. But this year, I will probably watch it again. Even absolutely, I think you're right, Sherry, that Baldur's going to take a lot. But there are some cool categories. There are some great things up for awards. And there are areas, that games have been nominated for that I want to see. A lot for Hi-Fi Rush, for instance, 5 nominations.
Yeah, I do plan to tune in primarily for the announcements and previews and such. That's frankly what I'm more interested in. But I also kind of want to be tuned in for the shenanigans. I feel like something always goes massively awry at the Game Awards, whether it's Joseph Ferris swearing about the Oscars or random people just coming up on stage
Somebody
with the
getting
award winners.
slapped by Will
So
Smith.
Shalene, what sort of drinking game would you suggest for the awards? What should we
Oh
take a
my
sip
goodness. Oh my goodness. Anytime that Jeff Keighley mispronounces the game, shot. Anytime that Kojima is on stage, take a drink.
Can we take a drink when all the audience goes, yeah, for Kojima?
Anytime that there's a world premiere,
Yeah.
we're all going to die.
Anytime they say exclusive.
Are you
Yes.
planning on us having alcohol poisoning by the end of this?
I was just thinking that. That's
Oh my goodness. Yes.
If somebody storms the stage again despite enhanced security, just drink the whole glass.
anytime Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah.
gets an award.
I'm honestly glad that they up security and that they're like saying, don't do this, because I mean, while it was pretty entertaining the last time, I don't think it's a good idea for them to embrace that and
Yeah,
No, it's such a surprise because when they had it happen last year, you're like, oh, it's a one-off incident. But then having it happen again with the GTA folk, it was just, too much. 2 times it becomes a trend. People start thinking it's cool. They're making plans. They're getting flash mobs ready. We can't have that.
Yeah.
It's really disrespectful to the people who are winning awards because they're celebrating their life's work, the greatest achievements of their careers, and they deserve to have their moment and not have it spoiled by somebody who wants to be the next meme. So yeah, Game Awards. But of course, we all know the only award show that matters is the Stack Awards, which will be coming at you in January. So yeah,
which is really just like a baby version of the Game Awards, but better.
Yes, imagine the Game Awards, but good.
I mean, we have a backlog of teeny tiny trophies that we have to send to all of the Game of the Year winners.
So many itty bitty trophies.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's no good way to segue into this. Absolutely none. According to this article from NPR, roughly 6,500 video game workers have been laid off globally since January. And this was part of the morning edition, the NPR morning edition. And it just discusses the layoffs as we have discussed on the last couple of podcasts. This is wild. It's just absolutely, it's insane, the volatility that has been happening in this industry, because it is one of the biggest earning industries out there in entertainment. And yet there is no stability for employees. And it's just 6,500 video game workers laid off this year. It's so many. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think it's tragic. I just hope that they get more jobs that open up.
Yeah, there's so much going on here. while the economy has part of it, while the whole COVID boom times for the video game industry higher up has a lot to do with it. I have a number of dev friends in Montreal area, for instance, and they say that yeah, there was overhiring happen. That a correction was somewhat inevitable, but to this degree, no. In my mind, and this is just me personally, when you bring on employees like that, you should do it sustainably. You're kind of making a promise to them to you need their work to employ them. They give you work, you pay them. Like, I don't know. It's a lot to tackle, but to me, I do feel that a company has a responsibility to their employees. I feel that in getting rid of so many in the name of pure profit, when they have plenty of profit this year still, and overflow, and a few bad years can be made up in the future. Yeah, it's overcorrection. It's unnecessary. It's cruel, and it's probably going to damage the industry for a while to come.
Yeah, it's definitely does seem reflective of poor planning on the part of many of these companies, in that they have grown unsustainably.
I think it's also the nature of creative industries to kind of capitalize on the kind of gig based
Precariousness,
the gig based economy that they've created. People can be hired for short term, and it's a short term contract deal, and they're not guaranteed work, so they become disposable.
Yeah, traditionally in games, that was very much a thing with contractors. Like they would hire up for games, especially a generation or two ago, around 2010s. It was very common that a studio would staff up for a game and then lay people off. But when you're adding permanent positions, it shouldn't be treated that way anymore. It's kind of thought we were beyond that, but obviously not.
Are these permanent positions that
Yes, they're layoffs.
A significant number. Some of them. Right, including in that 6,500 are some contract studios that were not, extended. Their contract wasn't extended, but a significant number of them these are just layoffs from the studio themselves.
Part of me wonders, what, I mean, obviously the economic impacts of the pandemic on these companies has taken its toll, and the gaming industry is just a small piece of the pie, right? I mean, the tech industry is seeing close to 100,000 people laid off globally. So, I mean, when you factor that in, it's like less than 10% overall. But developers as a species within the tech industry don't stay in jobs for long either. And so, because in order to move up in that industry, most don't stay in their position for more than 3 years, 3 to 5 years before moving on to the next place. So I almost feel like the culture of the tech industry has also set a precedent to make it easier to lay these people off, because managers are kind of anticipating that they're going to leave anyways.
It's true.
And
yeah, employee loyalty. Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's a good thing, because it's not. I think it points to some bigger problems, but I'm seeing considerably fewer technical folks being let go because of the, not because of the issues that we're seeing, but because of recruiting issues and issues with middle management, where companies should really be laying off higher paid salaries that aren't producing the actual product, but instead they're laying off the frontline workers, the devs that are producing the content to build these games. And it's so lopsided. But we're also seeing that in healthcare too, and other sectors. So it's interesting.
A difference between tech in general, healthcare, of course, but tech in general versus games industry too, is that the tech industry for programming and technical support and systems administration, they're actually still hiring quite heavily. So even though there's turnover and a lot of change there, it's pretty easy to just get yourself out there on LinkedIn or wherever and get something new. Whereas in the games industry, that part of tech specifically, I've been hearing that it's a lot harder right now because there's a lot of senior people looking for jobs that would previously be filled by entry level people, and entry level can't even find things, let alone the seniors.
Yeah, and I think, Shalene, we were talking about this on the last episode, how you know, they retain, like when you work for a company and you create content, you sign over that intellectual property.
Yes.
And so what happens is that the company builds this archive of intellectual property that they can reuse, and they don't need the techs anymore, right? So then you just, you know, you keep the senior tech, because they're worth the salary of 2 junior developers, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's silly, but I'm
But at
sure
the
that
same
people
time,
will
it seems
find.
like
So go ahead.
is sorry. At the same time, it seems like they're losing new ideas because you're laying
Absolutely.
off younger people who
Mhm.
have new innovative ideas. Whereas with older tech, you know, people in tech, you know, they're kind of like resting on their laurels. And, you know, it's this is what we do, this is what we've been doing, this is what we're going to keep doing.
Well, I mean, that coincides with the length of video game titles. You know, the loss of ideas, the longer the video game title, right?
I don't know. I think Pokemon Purple and Blue and Orange
Colon.
with a side colon with a side of French toast sounds awesome
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of does. And they'll never catch up with some of the Kingdom Hearts drop distance, Ranma 1/3, you know,
3
that
and
kind
1
of stuff.
quarter 0.25.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting with also the buyouts and takeovers. There are a lot of new studios coming up, independent studios, a lot of people previously, you know, at mid-level producers, other studios starting their own. You look at, for instance, Jeff Gardner, who left Bethesda, who had, you know, worked on Oblivion and Fallout 4, and then Fallout 76 was, you know, the lead producer on that. After he left, he took a break, and now he's starting Something Wicked Games, which looks amazing. And there are a number of other things like that where kind of people, you know, they have done what they've done within a certain setting. They leave and then bringing up a new studio that people, you know, some of these people hopefully can find work at.
Absolutely. And that is the ideal scenario, that the talent is it just moves to a new place and continues making incredible games. So for the likes of us. So to move on to our next article, this one is a gamesindustry.biz article by James Batchelor. A judge has ordered Epic and Google to hold settlement talks. So Epic has been at the center of a few lawsuits recently. They're just suing the pants off of everybody, and unsuccessfully, by the way. But Google is the most recent adversary that Epic Games has chosen. And this order came from Judge James Donato after Epic's lead attorney, Gary Bornstein, revealed that the two companies had never formally attempted to settle their dispute before it ended up in court. And the basis of this lawsuit is basically, it's about the way the Google storefront works, the way that the Android storefront works. They want to be able to for customers to be able to make purchases bypassing the Google storefront, so that they don't have to give Google that 30% fee, is what this lawsuit is all about. So Donato, the judge, asked Epic what they were planning to ask for if they win the case, and the firm responded with 3 requests: freedom for Epic and other developers to open their own app stores on Android without restrictions, freedom to use their own billing systems to handle in-game transactions from players, and an anti-circumvention provision just to be sure Google can't reintroduce the same problems through some alternative creative solution. And the judge instantly dismissed the latter, explaining that the court does not grant injunctions that essentially boil down to "don't break the law." He said, and I quote, "If you have a problem, you come back." Donato then argued that the first 2 things could well be accomplished with a settlement agreement, pointing to the fact that Spotify has a deal with Google and is able to use its own billing system. So before proceedings resumed on Tuesday, Donato ordered Epic to file its demands by 9 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, December 2nd, adding that these must be all-inclusive, detailed, and specific. Google is expected to provide an all-inclusive and detailed response by 9 a.m. on Monday, December the 4th. A settlement conference must then be held before the jury gives its verdict. The conference will be held between 4 people: Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney, an appropriate Google representative who could sign an enforceable deal, and the lead attorneys for both companies. Today, the day of this article, which was November the 30th, marked the 14th day of the antitrust trial between Epic and Google, and the jury will hear the last of the evidence today as we're recording Friday, December the 1st, before both parties make their closing arguments on Monday, December the 11th.
I don't have any thoughts about this because I don't care.
Is this going to affect Apple? Because
they've already sued Apple unsuccessfully for pretty much the same thing.
Apple's got its own battles with its whole Visa situation.
Yeah, Epic has been just fighting their good fight for quite some time now. And I don't know how they're funding this with the Epic storefront still being not profitable. And I guess it's just the Fortnite money. I don't know.
I'm definitely going to still cash in on those free Epic games, which, by the way, Deliver Us Mars is free in Epic Store this month.
I mean, I have a 10-year-old. They're getting a lot of money from us just for the Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a bit, I think. Shalene's included that as well.
And sadly, if Epic wasn't so focused on these lawsuits and keeping their games off the stores, because they were racking it in on mobile, on Apple before all this, they probably wouldn't have had to do the layoffs that they did.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. I have some mixed feelings about these lawsuits. On the one hand, it does feel a little frivolous. Because, if you don't like the way that they run their storefront, then you don't have to use it. You can sell your games elsewhere. But on the other hand, they do seem to be proposing this as if they are taking a stand for the little guy who can't do it. And that's, if they truly do believe in that, then that is worthwhile.
Agreed.
So Tim Twig mentions in the chat that they also have a gaming engine that they're licensing out. Go ahead, Sherry.
I purchase a lot of books, heaps and heaps of books, and none of my books are purchased via the apps. Anytime I want a book, I just go to the website and buy it, and then it turns up, either print or Audible or something like that. And it's so easy. I don't need to purchase it from the app. It's not necessary because it's just so easy to just go to the website.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. And it does seem like that kind of workaround would work just as well for Epic as well.
I mean, that's exactly it. There isn't a monopoly on it. And
to
I
me,
think
it seems like go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like a lot of people really hated when Steam was kind of forced on them with the launch of various games, and opted for third-party stores to get different Steam keys and things like that. So I don't see this as really being any that much different, like Sherry was saying. Go ahead.
To me, it seems like Epic's like, little kid on the playground that's like, they're picking on me. They're picking on me. They're picking on me. That's what it seems like to me. It just gets a little bit old.
Well, I mean, they knew all the mistakes that Valve had made, and others with their stores, but they still chose to opt for exclusivity. So, I mean, this is what you get.
I don't even think I have Epic on my computer.
I do, because you get free games every month. So, just gonna continue to rake in.
I think I was forced to get Epic. I can't remember which game it was, but there was something.
Nobody willingly installs Epic. They're all forced into it because one of their friends.
I unwillingly installed Epic on my old computer because my son wanted me to play Fortnite for him. Or with him.
Yep.
And I don't do well in Battle Royale. I panic too much, and I'm used to playing Fallout. And the same key on my computer to hit VATS in Fallout brings up the build menu in Fortnite, so I was panic building. And Toby's like, Mom, what are you doing? Put that away. I'm like, I'm panicking. I can't do this.
It's so funny.
Well.
Well, again, I have no smooth segues here, but we're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 a little bit. We had mentioned this earlier in our Game of the Year awards discussions. We expect that it will run away with quite a few awards, but this game is still being actively worked on. There is a recent update. It's a 30 gigabyte patch 5, and it adds a new playable epilogue, according to this Video Games Chronicle article by Chris Scullion. This 30 gigabyte patch contains a new epilogue designed to provide a well-deserved sense of closure with your allies. It also includes 2 new play modes called Honor Mode and Custom Mode. There has been some performance improvements, particularly in Act 3, and dynamic resolution has been added for the PS5 version. The full patch modes are very long, so you can feel free to go through those yourself. But we will go through some of these highlights that Video Games Chronicle has provided. The epilogue adds a new section of the game. The 2 new play modes, Honor Mode and Custom Mode, performance improvements in Act 3, dynamic resolution for PS5, and players who are playing on machines with low VRAM and RAM should see improved performance. The game is now available in Korean, so that's exciting. While at camp, you can now access and manage the inventories of companions who aren't in your active party. Oh, that's brilliant. I haven't even played this game, and I'm excited about that update. They added a brand new fight in Ramazith's Tower if you betray Night Song there. Oren's new outfit now drops as loot and is wearable by anyone. And they gave it a suitably disgusting description and name. I don't know who Oren is, but yes, same. I really need to just bite the bullet and play this video game. I really do. Some other highlights. Shadowheart will always be the owner of the artifact during the tutorial if she's a follower.
As she should be.
Becoming half illithid will now visually affect your eyes. Basic action variations, including a free version of Dash that you can perform because of a class feature that share a hotkey by default, will now gain a hotkey according to certain priority order. There is a bug that was repaired that party members would sometimes not change back into the armor set that they were displaying before entering camp. You can now talk to Mole more about her contract with Raphael in the guild hall. There are a few of these that are very specific, so I'll let you check these out for yourself. Fixed the puzzle in Cazador's palace. There are Cazadors in this game,
and they have a
Excuse
palace.
Me, and they have the Cazador Palace. Sounds like the last place I want to go.
Exactly. That sounds like the place you use up all of your emergency rations.
All the stim packs, all of your healing salve, everything, all your bullets. It sounds like the kind of place. Okay. The kind of place where you would have the quick save upon entering the
Before
room,
you enter,
and you would get stuck there. Because you
I'm sure you'll find a healing potion somewhere on the shelf in the foyer.
Oh yeah.
And of
but
course,
you're gonna overlook it because it's like dark over there.
If any of you are not huge Fallout fans, I don't know how you found us if you're not huge Fallout fans.
Yeah.
But of course, Cazadors are a very, very difficult enemy in Fallout New Vegas. So
yeah, if you're not a huge Fallout fan, you know, it's okay to be wrong.
You're not a huge Fallout fan. Why are you here?
Exactly.
If you're playing
because
New
we
Vegas,
just love games.
And we welcome you if you are not a Fallout fan, but we just don't know how you found us. We just don't know. But yeah, I need to play Baldur's Gate 3, you guys.
We just love games, and GameStack is kind of like the pocket on the pool table that's lowest when the leg is like a little bit slanted and all the pool balls go to that one pocket. Yeah.
Have any of you guys played Baldur's Gate 3? Haven't you guys played it yet?
just a little bit so
just
far.
a smidgen. What did you think
Just
of it,
a
Sherry?
smidgen. Well, I'm not used to turn-based, so it's a huge learning curve for me. but what I played of it, I liked the what do you call the setup for all your abilities and who you are, and choosing things like this dice roll thing is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved whenever that came up with the dice roll thing. There's something in my brain that goes
Mhm.
Yes.
that just gets me all excited. So I was always happy when that happened. Yeah, I will be going back at some point, but I'll probably be putting it on easy mode because
Understandable.
It's
Nothing
a
wrong with the
story
occasional
mode.
easy mode.
Yeah,
huge
I think
learning
that's
curve for that
Mm-hmm.
style. There are other games, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 were great. Looking forward to Baldur's. I'm just breaking in because I'm excited for Xbox players to get to play this soon. And I am hoping that not only is it coming out in December, but I am hoping we get it announced and shadow dropped at the Game Awards. One reason I'll be watching as much as I can, because I want to be downloading Baldur's Gate 3 as soon as it's available. Really
Yes, I think
excited for
that
this
feels
one.
likely. I think that feels very likely. They have maintained their pledge that they want to release this game on Xbox by the end of the calendar year.
Yep.
I feel like that would be a very cool move to shadow drop it at the Game Awards.
And interestingly, the leaked date that came out 2-3 months ago via Reset Era was in the news. GameIndustry.biz and a few other people covered it, mentioned that Baldur's Gate was looking to release on December 6th. That is the
nice.
day before the Game Awards. So, of course, say that changed because, of course, the producer came out and said, no, this isn't, we haven't said anything official aside from it's still on track for this year. But yeah, December 7th, it would match up with the previous leak. It would be beautiful. I don't know. I'm excited. I know our friend Will has been playing so much, and a number of other friends, of course. And
Yeah, I think
even
Tim's
the
been
music.
streaming it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely want to play. I'm not sure that my PC will even run this game. It might just burst into flames. But of course, there's always console.
It couldn't possibly be because you dropped it
Everyone is so.
It's been a year since I dropped it down the flight of stairs, and it's still ticking.
It should be over its trauma by then.
Yes,
you know?
isn't it something? A year ago, I dropped this machine down a flight of stairs, followed by myself. I also threw myself down the stairs after it. So, yeah.
As you should. You have to try to save it. I mean, I get it. I completely get it.
Gracious.
My.
Let's move on. Nintendo Live 2024 will be held in Tokyo. This is a GamesIndustry.biz article by Sophie McAvoy. And
is it going to be held at the new Nintendo Museum? I wonder.
Okay, I just clicked through and it's in Japanese. So this is a short format article. It says, linking to the official source for more information. Read more about the story by clicking the link below. And when you click the link below, it's in Japanese. So
copy paste and then Google Translate.
Oh, Google Translate. English, make it okay. Ha! Sherry, thank you. Nintendo Live will be held in Tokyo in January of 2024. This is an event where you can enjoy various projects related to games and characters such as Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda, including the World Tournament, where representative players from all over the world gather. And the event will be live streamed here on this page, which is Nintendo.com, of course. So this will take place on January the 20th and 21st. And the event time will be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So definitely check that out.
I kind of want them to have like a giant Smash Brothers tournament.
They're totally having a giant Smash tournament. Splatoon as well. So. But if you're not somebody who wants to play Smash Brothers or Splatoon, for example, on your Switch, and you would really like to play, say, Halo on your Switch or something like that, according to this Video Games Chronicle article by Tom Ivan, an Xbox executive has stated that Microsoft wants to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo. And its mission is to have first-party experiences on every screen that can play a game. Tim Stewart.
There it is.
The chief financial officer has stated that the company wants to bring Game Pass to these other consoles. This was at the Wells Fargo TMT Summit, and their mission is designed to reap higher profits for Microsoft's gaming division than has traditionally been the case with its relatively low margin console business. And one of the motivating factors behind the company's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which completed last month, Stewart says, for us, when we think about the business, gaming as it relates to Microsoft with Activision, operating leverage and margin expansion is definitely a piece of that puzzle. At the highest levels, you go from what was a lower margin third-party entity that we sold on our store to a high margin first-party business. So when you think about the Xbox component of Call of Duty, you go from that low margin business to a high margin business. Then what you do is you also expand and say, hey, now we're driving high margin sales on PlayStation, on Nintendo. And frankly, I have wanted to see Game Pass on my Switch ever since they started being friendly with each other, these two companies. It would be sort of like a Steam Deck situation where you would have all these games available in a handheld format.
But correct me if
But they didn't say anything about Steam Deck. Did you notice that?
Yeah. But I analogies, vendor analogies. In the same way that you can use a Steam Deck to play basically any game out there. If you had Game Pass on your Switch, you could use your Switch to play all of those amazing games. And that's what I want.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad if Nintendo gave them the finger, because if you remember back the trial or they basically said that Nintendo wasn't a console or a threat, or they had no business being there back in, what was that, June, July?
Well, that wasn't Microsoft. That was actually the opposite. That was the opposing argument from the people for the US trying to say that, oh, we don't bring Nintendo into this, and to kind of show Microsoft being more dominant than they are. But yeah, the interesting thing about Game Pass on other systems, which I love, and the one thing about Steam Deck vendor, one reason why it's not as, first of all, it just wasn't brought up here, but also you can reformat your Steam Deck and, make it run if you reformat it to run Windows. So there are possible ways and workarounds already. But Game Pass on these systems would be odd because you can't run most of the games natively, and Game Pass, the way that it works, most of them you actually download and install right on the system. And a lot of these games wouldn't be able to unless they are games that are already out on that system. So it would be more likely the cloud-based offerings. It would be limited and probably handled in the same way that they do Netflix or Amazon Prime or any of the other apps, I would think.
You raise a good point, Jess. You raise a good point. But just imagine, though, I could be earning Xbox achievements from my Nintendo Switch. Wouldn't that be rad? Don't you want that? Don't you want that in your life? I want that in my life.
I want them everywhere. I want an achievement making coffee.
I wouldn't mind consolidating all the platforms into one achievement basket. That would be nice, but that's not going to happen.
I used to have the Windows phone, the Windows Nokia phone, and I could get achievements from my mobile games, and it was the business.
Beautiful. That's amazing.
I miss that Windows phone more than most of the people that I no longer have in my life.
Yeah. I still have my Zune HD.
Oh, I love the Zune HD and the Nokia 920. Beautiful.
It I think it's in the garage at Bishop's computer, in the garage. It's not really a garage. But it used to stay in my purse all the time.
Right.
It didn't charge. You could put new music on it. It's not having new music on it since like 2015. But it is what it is, and it makes me happy, but I still have it.
That's funny. So just to add in, Joseph Tao did add some commentary to this article, and Joseph says, I don't like this idea. I can see this easily breaking into lawsuits about the 30% cut of stuff on the storefronts and such, with Microsoft winning in the obviously biased court system.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I agree. I think Microsoft is only interested in making money.
Of course they
And-
are. They're a
And
company.
if their vertical control of the situation doesn't actually translate into profits, then they don't really have any interest in
This was
what it
from the
is.
CFO specifically making the
Yes.
statement. Yes.
Exactly.
So
I obviously the goal is money.
yeah, I mean, I mean they've certainly caught on to something here, and there's a potential for them to grow even bigger. But I can see Microsoft pushing like a native Game Pass app on just as many platforms as they could. But I think the thing is that they're probably going to hold back on existing platforms that are huge like Steam. And Steam is taking such a huge cut in terms of profits. So I don't know. I think it's mostly just talk.
I agree with you
I feel like they're
there.
kind of taking
Yeah.
the Sega route on this one.
Yes. Like
Right.
the last couple of weeks, Sega's been having
Like,
some
can't
big
we all
words.
just get
Yes.
along with my idea?
I do think that we are the likeliest to see a version of Game Pass on smart TVs before we see it on
I mean,
PlayStation
10
or
years
Nintendo.
from now, you won't be buying a console. You'll be buying
Mhm.
a TV that has a console in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want to get people back on the couch. So.
Well, you know who else wants to get people back on the couch? CD Projekt Red. They want people on the couch playing
picked right up on
Cyberpunk
it.
2077.
Good job.
Yes, update 2.1 will be launching next week alongside with the game's Ultimate Edition, and this update will be adding new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements.
Oh.
So, Quest director Paweł Sosko and producer Monica Janowska will be discussing the update during a Twitch live stream on December 1st. Okay, we missed that, but I hope it was good. See. CD Projekt announced the Ultimate Edition of Cyberpunk 2077 earlier in November, and this will bundle the base game with Phantom Liberty expansion. It will be released digitally and physically for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. And CD Projekt Red said that the game's first and only expansion, the Phantom Liberty, has cleared 4.3 million sales in its first 2 months. So in September, the game's director, Gabe Amatangelo, Gabe, said that the studio wasn't planning any more major updates for the title as it was switching its attention to other projects, including the game's sequel, which is now entering development at the North American CD Projekt Red studio. So I think this is really interesting that they keep adding new gameplay elements via these updates. And I'm going to lean on Joseph Tao's commentary again. He says, why weren't these included in the last big update? I feel like they just want people to keep playing this campaign over and over again just to see the changes they make. And he's got a good point, because this is a single player story driven experience. Do you really want to keep repeating things just for some new gameplay elements?
And they have added a lot. And, you know, some of us do love to replay RPGs, but come on, like you just had a huge update. And these are things that you're only going to see. I mean, it's in there for the future and for future plays, but the way they've been positioning these things so close together, it's like, yeah, the game's good now. See, and they want to keep, you know, flouting that over and over and over again.
It's almost apologetic. They're like, here, guys, here's some more fixes.
That's fair.
Here's some more improvements. We're really sorry about the console launch.
The driving is still terrible.
Is it still garbage?
It's still so bad. Yeah. All I want is just a car that is better.
You've played since the 2.0 update?
No.
But well, people are loving Phantom Liberty. I haven't heard that the driving's any better, though. I've still heard complaints.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a driving sim, though, but you know, neither was GTA, and they nailed that pretty good. So
if you add Idris Elba to most things, it's going to be better. Yes,
we are.
Yeah, I can't drive in. I can't drive in any game, and when I eventually go back to the game, I am going to walk everywhere.
Cyberpunk's wild. Like when you play it on PC, if you tap like A or D on your keyboard, your car instantly verts to the left or right and like kills someone. Like there's no like it's just yeah.
So it's like me driving in real life.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
That's why Kansas has such a bad
Um,
reputation for
Kentucky.
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 All right. Okay. Well,
I'm
um,
looking forward to updating and getting back into Cyberpunk though. And you're right. I mean, I think these little updates here and there, I mean, maybe quality of life improving, but not game breaking or like, you know, making it better overall. I think we want some new stories and stuff. Or maybe
absolutely.
put a casino in so we could at least like, you know, yeah. Anyways.
Well, how about some old stories, Thunder? How about some old stories?
Like what?
Well, according to this NPR article, some of those old stories from the older days of gaming, some vintage gaming stories, have been discovered and could be worth up to six figures. This is an NPR article by Manuela Lopez Restrepo, and a Nebraska video game store closed in 1998, and hundreds of sealed Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis cartridges were placed in storage.
Wow.
They were rediscovered last year, and 173 of the most interesting items have now been appraised. And of course, this is obviously just a dream for a collector. These objects are hundreds of games for some of the most iconic consoles. This treasure trove has been in storage since the time that Mark Odoricio closed his video game shop in Nebraska. He put them in storage and planned to come back to it later. And they were found last year. He, with the help of his brother Tim, and another video game store owner, Mark took his collection out of storage and had them graded and authenticated, and there are some real gems in there. Tim recalled the conversation saying, "Mark, you need to make a decision about these games. What's your plan?" He said, "Well, I was just going to keep them, and then when I died, it would go to the kids." I go, "We can't. Your heart's in the right place, but your mind sucks." Enter Chris Thompson, the owner of a chain of video game stores in Nebraska. And he filmed the YouTube video that you can see if you click on this NPR article. He helped them get these games graded and authenticated, and 173 of the most mint items have been dubbed the Nebraska Collection.
Wow.
One of the buzziest items in the group is a nearly perfectly preserved copy of Chrono Trigger, the cult classic role-playing game. The game itself is just this amazing masterpiece of the video role-playing genre that a lot of people would say is just the best video game RPG ever made. Basically, this is as nice of a copy of this particular game as you will ever see, said Chris Kohler, a collector and the editorial director at Digital Eclipse. The Nebraska collection, single games from this collection can still sell for as much as $10,000.
My goodness.
And Kohler estimates that the collection will net somewhere in the six-figure range. Wow. It's unclear how these games are going to be sold, but these games will likely not be available for individual sale. Someone could take all of the games for one lump sum.
Well, kudos to the cameraman on the YouTube channel. That is some excellent high-quality filming. I do not feel dizzy or nauseous at all anymore.
I like that the games are being stored with the Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just look at these games, the nostalgia.
NHL 94.
Oh, the nostalgia.
Hello, my childhood.
They're beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, except for Splatterhouse. They can keep that.
Look at all of them. Oh,
that is so many boxes of games. So many boxes.
Who's going to buy them? That's what I wonder. Batman Returns on Sega Genesis. Oh, man, I remember playing that. That was... Whoa!
That is a very beardy man in this video.
That is a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So much hair.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That is epic hair to go along with the epic collection.
That's a cool story.
Okay.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
I thought that
sharing
was
that.
neat. Now, Vendor, I would like for you to tackle this next one, if you don't mind.
Huh?
This is
Okay.
the Trash
Mhm.
Panda story.
Oh yeah. So Trash Panda is a thing. There is wait a minute. Hold on here. Um, According to a raccoon-based, a resident in Toronto is launching a raccoon-based video game called Trash Panda. If you have ever wondered what it might be like to see Toronto through the eyes of a raccoon, you can
And
do
who
so.
hasn't, frankly?
You
Who
can do so
hasn't?
through this. Well, I mean, if you've been Toronto, if you've been to Toronto, if you want to see Toronto through the eyes of a raccoon, you can spend all night digging through the trash in this new video game that may be just right up your alley.
Is the
Uh,
camera angle low at like raccoon eye level? That's what I want to know.
I imagine it's probably like Stray Raccoon version,
It would be.
Stray Raccoon edition. Yeah,
Are there perils? Like, do you get distemper and stuff like that?
yeah.
Is this going to be some sort of inventory game where you
Like,
just like go through rubbish and just put stuff in your cheeks?
I've got some gameplay coming up here in a
Good.
second.
Raccoon with a GoPro, FMV. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my
Alright.
goodness.
The game will be available for purchase on Steam for $9.99 and allows players to experience the full nightlife of Toronto through the eyes of a raccoon. But instead of visiting bars and restaurants, your goal is to create the biggest mess possible by knocking over
tipping
trash
over
bins
trash bins.
in some of the
Oh, and he's
city's most
snacking.
identifiable neighborhoods. So,
Well, I mean, who would throw away these perfectly viable snackies?
yeah.
I want him to be a raccoon detective going through the trash for clues. Oh my goodness. So
This
cute.
video, so the video game
this
developer
looks-
started this project during the pandemic in 2021, and after its prototype garnered a warm reception from the community, he committed to further seeing the project through. And he says, I started off where I was just experimenting. I had a bunch of assets for making video games, and I was just playing around. I had this animated raccoon. I had a garbage bin. That's how it starts. That's how it always starts. I had something that kind of resembled a game, and I threw it online, and people really liked it and said they wanted to play this Trash Panda game. And I went, oh, well, there's the title. So anyways, the developer, Lever, who grew up in Oakville, initially thought the game would just take a few months rather than a few years, and that was part of the learning process. But the game does depict realistic neighborhoods and landmarks around Toronto, including Algonquin Island, Cabbage Town, the beaches, Swansea, and R.C. Harris Water Treatment Plant. So,
He's the cutest little trot.
yeah, I think it's
Trot
great.
You know
Goes
what
that
I'm being
way.
reminded of? That goat game with its long tongue
Mm,
attaching to it.
yes.
Goat Simulator. Yeah, it has a little bit of the same
Simulator.
low poly vibes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go
And
to
mischief.
Simulator or the goose.
Goose
The Untitled
Untitled
Goose.
Goose.
Untitled Goose
Yeah.
Game. Untitled Goose Game is one of
A
the greatest
masterpiece.
games I've ever played.
I got
It's a work of
stuck
art.
on that.
It's a masterpiece. But yeah, the developer says that sales are going much better than anticipated. He thinks that Toronto loves the game. Trash Panda is among several video games that are either set in or pay tribute to Toronto, or should I say Toronto, including Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, and Far Cry, Blood Dragon. So, yeah, that's pretty
It's
good.
only available on PC
For
no
now.
console
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. So,
for Trash Panda.
are any of you going to play it? I'm going to play it because I've been to Toronto many times, and I want to see if I can recognize some of the sites.
Probably not. But if you ping me in Discord, I'll watch you play it.
Yeah.
I
I
probably
feel-
will, but I know a little boy who would love it
Yeah.
because he loves the Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Untitled Goose Game is great. Jen, you're Canadian. Are you going to play it?
Yes. I feel I'm gonna try because I'll find something to play it on. I've got a laptop with Boot Camp on it, so I'm hoping it's not too hefty in terms of of what it needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel an affinity for raccoons. I like trash food too, and I like being roly-poly and causing mischief. So I'm a
I'm
fan.
personally waiting for the expansion to come out where you get rabies and attack people.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
that's what I want to know. Can I like
Trash
can I
Panda,
bite
the
someone?
Rabbit Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like zombies
Yeah.
mode in COD. Absolutely.
Exactly.
It
You need the
looks
rabbit
adorable.
edition.
The raccoons are no joke though. Like I don't have
Oh,
them
yeah.
where I live, but like I've stayed with family in Ottawa and Toronto, and you know, they
we
come
have 'em
in
here.
early in the morning from being outside, and they're like, the damn raccoons got into the garbage again and it's everywhere, and they're all mad. Like
They don't
We
raccoons
have
don't care. They don't
No.
they just don't care.
they don't care.
Our
Nope.
cameras outside caught a raccoon trying to get under our house one night.
Oh my.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll nest under there.
We have raccoons, we have city deer, so
Yeah.
it's good times.
Well,
I think the real
I
problem
find-
with raccoons is they have thumbs. They can pick stuff up.
oh yes, they're very
They're-
dexterous.
Yeah, they're like
Dexterous.
are they called wash bears somewhere because they wash their food?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know where, but I've heard that.
But we should move on with the show.
Hmm.
We have some stocks to get through, so I'm gonna zip through this and then we'll hop into our screenshots and stories. Sony, these prices, as always, are in comparison to our previous episode, which actually would have been 2 weeks ago. So keep that in mind when I'm listing these prices off. But Sony closed out at $86.14, down $1.51. Microsoft at $374.51, up $4.66. Nintendo holding steady, just up 20 cents at $11.73. Take-Two up $3.45 at $157.84. Ubisoft appears to be a typo, so I'm going to skip over that. EA closed out at $137.76, up $4.06, 10 cent, up just 9 cents at $41.04, and Roblox Corp up $2.54 at $40.45, which I find is interesting because there's a recent Roblox investor alert that talks about how Robin Skeller-Rudman and Dowd LLP have announced that the Roblox Corporation investors will be seeing substantial losses, but have the opportunity to lead a class action lawsuit.
Wow.
And so even though their stock price has gone up, the case allegations include operating the video game platform that provides developers with tools to create games that are hosted on their servers, but that the alleges the defendants throughout the class action made false or misleading statements or failed to disclose that the Roblox platform had insufficient content controls and lacked user spending restrictions, as well as adequate controls, enabling younger Roblox users to play games with inappropriate content and make excessive unauthorized purchases. And I think we talked about this in last week's show, Shalene. And so I'm just going to sort of end that conversation there, but keep an eye on the Roblox stock. Will be interesting to see where it ends up by next week. And now let's talk about what the community is playing. So our first bit of screenshots are actually from our GameStack challenge. And if you recall, the last GameStack challenge was, Shalene?
A video game feast.
Thank you. As a cap off and extension of our previous challenge around Thanksgiving. And so this first shot comes from RTZ13. He says, all right, so you have a food challenge. Not really experienced in Thanksgiving, but here you go. For those of you who don't know, RTZ is from England. So here's me on the ship having some cheese, wine, and a Starfield sandwich, which is coincidentally a title of a great podcast with relevant topic. And the Starfield... The cheese says Bosterus Laboratories cheese.
And it looks like butter. It's wrapped like the way that a stick of butter is wrapped.
Yeah, and then the sandwich, I don't know. It's
The
stacked.
sandwich is sad.
Yeah, it looks...
It's a very sad sandwich.
That cheese is way too thin.
Also, why is your character naked?
Wine,
I thought
cheese,
everybody eat their
naked.
sad sandwiches naked.
Yeah.
I
Just in
mean,
case he
I would
spills,
save on
right?
my laundry bills if I ate naked.
Yeah, if you're
but-
gonna get naked, just strip down and get into that sandwich. Way to
Yeah.
go.
This one comes from Kawaii Banana Sushi, and she says, enjoying tofurkey from
Oh.
canned meat substitute my sim made from foraged mushrooms. I'm sure that is very appealing and not at all off-putting to anybody. And it is a very pale looking turkey with a teeny tiny bit of basil on the top of it.
Yeah, that's a very unseasoned turkey.
Yes. And
I
then
love a good tofurkey, but they're rarely quite so detailed.
yes, there is some presumably mashed potatoes and stuffing as well with the turkey. Yes, I love it. Looks great. This next one is Shalene's. And Shalene, I'm going to let
Yay!
you explain this for the listeners.
Okay, this is an Animal Crossing screenshot. And Animal Crossing has a great Thanksgiving event called Turkey Day. And this turkey named Franklin comes. He is an very highly esteemed chef in the world of Animal Crossing. And he comes down, you help him find ingredients and cook meals, and there's an additional secret ingredient you can find for each of the dishes. And I found them all and got each of these dishes to be sparkly, and my residents are thrilled, and they danced around the table in their little hats. It was cute. I don't know where they all got these matching hats. I don't have one.
The hats are cute.
It was a good time.
Looks good.
You missed the memo?
Yeah. This next one's from Suliore. Says, didn't get any feast pictures, but I did get some pictures at the bar. This is in Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty DLC. The guy is Idris Elba's character, Solomon Reed, and believe it or not, the girl is a friend. And it's they're sitting at a bar, and this next photo is of the bartender holding a weapon up to the person.
That was a little shocking.
And then they follow it up with this shot of someone's arm. Who is that? Johnny's arm?
Probably. It looks like a silver hand. Not sure.
Yeah.
Is it me, or does this lady look a little bit like
is.
Vivica Fox if she had short hair?
Perhaps.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay, and that is it for our challenge photos. So if any of you are thinking, any of our co-hosts are thinking of a new challenge that we can announce at the end of this next set of photos, that would be very helpful because I did not plan ahead for that part of the show. This next screenshot coming to us is so good. I just love it. It is the one, the only, the Razor Crest from Mandalorian. And this is Vodkanocker's screenshot. He says, "Where are my fellow Mandalorian fans at? I put my credits to use in Starfield and built the Razor Crest." And this looks exactly like the Razor Crest. It is so
beautiful.
I just say, Vodka Knockers, okay, your use of the Tayo build set along with the Nova Galactic engines and some Demos parts, this is an A+ build. I don't know about the accuracy because I haven't seen Mandalorian, but I can tell you that looks like it's going to fly beautifully.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the Razor Crest so all of you
It looks
can
very
see it.
functional.
So this is the Razor Crest.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it is pretty accurate, and I just lost all of my photos.
Vendor.
That's great.
They're the same thing. Vodka Knockers completely nailed it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what is going on here? I lost my photos. Help. Okay, well, the show must go on. I lost the order of my photos as well, so let's go back here. There
So
we go.
many photos.
Okay, here is another shot of the Razor Crest in front of a planet, and another great shot going through an asteroid belt, and there's a little caption that says, "We've lost the engines." So, very good. This is actually, I think, a challenge photo from Raven's View, who put it in our screenshots and stories, but it is all the best anyways. He says, "Happy American Thanksgiving," and it is a screenshot of a taxidermied turkey in his lodge, presumably in Hunter Call of the Wild.
Nice.
Very good. Very good.
I have
enjoy
that game.
I enjoy that very
I've not
much.
played it yet.
A couple shots in from Sater this week. Says, "The ships I fly in Star Citizen generally have the aerodynamic profile of a brick, so I can leave the hangar before the doors are fully open. That doesn't work so well when you try flying a ship that has wings. One of the plus sides, I landed in quotations, landed safely and was able to use the new space tow ship to tow the ship off the planet through and through quantum travel to a station to try to get it repaired. The last part being bugged. I ended up using the SRV as a trebuchet to filling the broken ship at the sun. And so here's his ship being towed in the atmosphere and then in the quantum travel, which is an awesome photo, by the way. This looks very good. His ship is like in a warp stream, and there's like ice tails coming off of the front of it. It looks really good. And then also this one from inside the cockpit, which is approaching the space station, and then one of his ship docked. It looks very good. Screenshot coming in from Taz. This looks like Deliver Us Mars. He says, preparing to launch into a space, which has a Life is Strange in space kind of vibe or feel. And I also picked up Deliver Us Mars, and I started playing the first bit of it. It's got such an incredibly complex intro. Man, I was not expecting that. I thought it was like a survival sort of like loot and shoot, but it is not at all. It's very good. So I also threw in this screenshot of what Mars looks like from the cockpit of the spaceship, and then also this awesome screenshot on Mars with my little robot friend, and it turned out really good. It's a beautiful game. You should check it out. And then a couple more screenshots to go. This one from Taz. This says the sunrise on my island in Sunken Land. And it's a nice screenshot of the ocean, sun setting. And this one on Farm Sim of him cutting grass. He says, recently upgraded vendor's lawnmower, replacing it with something more beefy. And it looks like a zero
That is
turn.
an epic lawnmower.
But this thing has 4
wild.
giant wheels on the back of it. It is like, you're not going to cut grass with that. You're going to shred grass and ground. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Probably some pavement
So
too.
cool.
Yeah. And then we have a few from RTZ13. So he says he picked up a new game, another little gem I finished. I was looking for a palette cleanser in the sea of AAAs. It's a little interactive game called Behind the Frame, about 2 painters and their relationship. Rather than a specific story, it gives more like chilled and charming moods. And so here's a screenshot of him pouring some coffee into a cup. Another one of presumably the couple.
This looks terribly charming.
Out for a stroll
It's
with their
adorable.
umbrellas. This one of a painting sitting on an easel overlooking some rolling hills. Looks very nice, very painting-esque. As well, this one, their apartment with another painting on an easel, and then a nice little shot of
Oh,
Cuteness.
That's so
Very cute.
sweet.
of some cats. So, anyways, that is the screenshots and stories. Have we got a challenge idea for our listeners for the next episode? Any ideas?
We had several proposed by Jen, and I think I'll just take the liberty to pick one, if you don't mind.
Please do.
Winter Wonderland Pictures sounds like a great one for this week. It is
Wonderful.
that time of year. We did talk about how most of us, except for Vendor, have been getting some snow. So let's see winter in video games. Send us your best Winter Wonderland screenshots.
Excellent.
And how will the people submit those, Vendor?
Yeah, so if you head on over to the GameStack Challenge in our We Just Love Games Discord, you can post them right in there. And of course, we always welcome regular screenshots and stories as well. Well, let's talk about what we've been playing. And I think we'll start off with Jen. Jen, why don't you take the lead on this? What's your gameplay been up to lately?
I've been playing a lot of Starfield.
Oh, really? Pray
Yeah,
tell.
Bravo.
I really have. And any spare moments I get, I've been making some way through the main story. But the problem I'm having is my partner also is playing Starfield, but I'm ahead of him
Ooh.
in gameplay. So what I've been doing is streaming to my iPad and playing on the sofa so he can't see. And it means that I can use my, my little earbuds to listen on the iPad, and I'm playing with my Xbox controller but using my iPad as a screen. So that's been a really, really great way to avoid spoilers for
And has
him.
that been working well? Like you haven't had too many problems with lag?
No problems at all with lag. It's been fantastic.
That sounds
It's
amazing.
really, really great. Yeah, I mean it's like having Game Pass on my iPad. So yeah, it's pretty wonderful.
Cool.
I'm enjoying the heck out of that.
Cool.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But I have a badass gun right now. It is
Oh, yes, you do.
this incredible shotgun. And I'm not a shotgun build at all. I try not to be super stealthy. I usually am like, two-handed weapons in Skyrim.
Mhm.
But this time I have a really, really cool chameleon suit. I love that some of the Fallout legendary perks are on the pieces of gear in Starfield. So I have a chameleon suit, and it's got like some sentinel power on it, so I can stand still, be invisible, and shoot and not take that much damage. So it's been pretty sweet. But the shotgun is amazing. It's so good. I can like headshot a creature and boom, it's dead. One shot. So good.
Does that have to do with the fact that you're just higher level as well?
I'm not that high. I'm only like level 35 or something. It's a super duper shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get it if as part of.
One day I will play Starfield when I can get it for $10.
I usually don't like automatic or semi-automatic guns in games, but Starfield, I found a gun that's a semi-automatic that I'm really liking when I'm on the planet.
What are you using? What is
I
it?
don't know, it's some sort of semi-automatic, but it's so useful when I'm on a planet and I'm being swarmed by critters. I just mow them down. It's so convenient.
It's so good. Yeah,
Starfield.
I'm loving the heck out of
So
Starfield.
that's your
I've
gameplay?
also been I've also been in the stars in Stardew. So, hanging out on Ginger Island.
Oh, I love Stardew Valley. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the completion.
Wow, that's
Having
ambitious.
the perfect farm. Yeah, I'm really trying. I want that rainbow, or the prism. What is it? The rainbow prism. There's a little totem that generates these awesome rainbow colored gems that I want badly. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just mostly on my iPad. My life is on my iPad because I can sit with we were talking about this on Dames. I sit with my my puppy on my side.
Yeah.
She's 3 years old now, but
Yeah.
she'll always be a puppy. And my kitten on my lap.
Yeah.
And then my other cat on my shoulder,
Yeah.
and blankets. It's delicious.
Yeah, that sounds like heaven.
It is wonderful.
What about you, Jess? What have you been up to?
I've just been playing, well, like Jen, Starfield, but I talked about that long enough last time I was on the show. Let's just say I'm still enjoying it. Have not been able to play as much as I'd like the last month, only like once a week or so, because I've been back in Fallout 76 for a lot of anniversary stuff. So still enjoying the Fallout 76, especially with the anniversary. There were some wonderful events. I hope people got to enjoy those, the Halloween events, the anniversary events, the parade we did, and all kinds of stuff. My most recent thing, which I would just ask if people want to check out, we did another Shakespeare in Fallout 76, so Wasteland Theater Company. As y'all know, we put on plays and such, and I broadcast them. And the last one we did was Coriolanus, which is a lesser known tragedy by Shakespeare, but it was a fun and epic production. It was our shortest. So if some of the others, like an hour and a half or more, have been too long, this one's under an hour. And it's an adaptation of Coriolanus with the Brotherhood of Steel. It was quite fun, and it's up on my YouTube. So that was my big project. And of course, in 76 a lot for that. So that's what I've been playing.
Excellent. And Sherry, what have you been up to?
So I was playing Starfield, but I actually haven't played Starfield for a few weeks now because I've become obsessed with anime shows, and I heard about a new anime coming up called Solo Leveling, and I heard that it's a manga, so I started reading the manga, and then I realized that I couldn't put it down, but I needed to work, so I found out it was actually originally a Korean web novel, so then I found out that I can get the Audible version. And there's 8 volumes in the audio version.
Oh, so you're
So
gonna be
it's
busy.
Wow.
I'm up to book 4 now. It's called Solo Leveling. And I love stories that have video game elements, and this is full on video game elements.
That's great.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's about a guy that it takes place in that real world. It's not like he's not dropped in another universe like a lot of animes or those sort of stories are. It is it takes place in their world where all these holes have opened up, and people are, when like 10 years previously, all these holes were opened up, which ended up being gates to these places, which were like dungeons, and things were leaking out and attacking everyone, and people were like becoming awakened with abilities, and they were called hunters, and so people who were hunters were dealing with these gates and closing them. And this guy's this main character, who's Jinwoo, he's supposed to be like called, people nickname him the weakest hunter that ever lived because he's so weak. And then something really awful happens in one of these dungeons, and he manages to survive, but he's then exposed to some sort of new element where he ends up getting this ability where he can actually gain levels. So he ends up grinding basically to get more powerful and more powerful. And the game the story has just sucked me in, and I love it.
That's like Shalene. She's like, yeah, I've just been reading books.
Yeah, I only finished 2 books this week though. I've been slacking.
Yeah. All right, well, let's carry on. Sarah, what have you been up to?
Hogwarts is still my home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't left. I talked about Hogwarts Legacies last time I was on we did GameStack, and I haven't left. I'm still there. I did briefly try Starfield, and I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, that was my reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really neat and everything, but I'm still just like, eh.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's been a week, like I said earlier, and I also I do this too.
What is that?
It's happy coloring. Because I can
play
on the
yes.
Therapeutic coloring.
It's color.
Yeah.
It's color by numbers.
Yeah.
It's color by numbers. And that's what I do.
Yeah. I have that on Hogwarts my iPad. It's really good.
Yeah, I prefer it on the iPad. But my iPad's charging, so I brought it up on here so I could show you guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
great.
I've been doing that and watching The Crown, so.
The Crown. Oh my god, this new season is so dumb.
I haven't made it to the new season.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since I've watched. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm one of the people that I have to rewatch every season.
Oh yeah, me too. I rewatched the whole thing before the new season. Yeah. So I've seen Game of Thrones at least 8 times.
Oh, I've seen it a ton too.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I actually had an identity crisis with Hogwarts Legacies because I had got locked out of my I think it's the wizardingworld.com now, but it used to be Pottermore. I had got locked out of that account, and I was a Slytherin on that account, and I had to redo my test, my Hogwarts test, and I found out that I'm a Gryffindor.
Oh.
So there was like a whole like weekend where I was like, I don't know who I am because I've been a Slytherin for 3 years, but we're fully accepting it now. We're
wow,
Gryffindors.
You've just gone out and bought all the paraphernalia.
I've had this for years, but I have my
Gryffindor.
Yeah, I'm full on Gryffindor now. We're just embracing it.
For the audio folks, she's wearing a Gryffindor scarf, and she held up a Gryffindor tumbler.
That's great. I love it.
Well, I am just
in the dark.
glad you got that sorted.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good. I know who I am now.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what I've been doing.
My partner is Ravenclaw.
Mine is too.
Upon first play.
There's a version of the Hogwarts test that has every question from Pottermore. and it gives you a percentage of each house that you're in.
Mhm.
It's so much better than, because Pottermore gives you like 5
Yeah.
questions, and it's like, I can send you the link for it.
Seems like
So I
everybody
give it
else in
to
our chat is also Ravenclaw.
I have my husband do it, and it shows you as you're doing it the percentage as you're answering each question. He does this test in the most Ravenclaw way possible. He covered the percentage with his hand and kept answering the questions. And I'm like, I've been telling you for
That's how it
years that you're a
happens.
Ravenclaw.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then both of my kids are Hufflepuffs.
That's great. Well, I've been up to quite a few games this week, dipping in and out. Actually, over the last couple of weeks, it is November, which is Diabetes Month, which in my field of study, which is diabetes, is very busy. So I haven't had much time, but I did do some driving in ATS in Kentucky in the new Kentucky DLC, which is pretty good. I've also downloaded the Reforma map, which brings up the Sierra Nevada region as well as Mexico. So right now I am down in Mexico, and I love it. I love all of the Spanish signs and the road signs. I have no idea where I'm going because I can't read Spanish, and I often get lost. It's very fun. And I don't know if this is actually a thing in Mexico, but there's no speed limits. There's like,
I don't know.
There's no speed limits
Really?
in the ATS version of Mexico. So everybody just kind of decides on their own road rules. So I'm not sure.
Honestly,
Wow.
I'm gonna say that sounds like Mexico.
Yeah.
But
That also sounds like Kentucky.
That's why I'm kind of like, is this actually a thing? I did jump into Deliver Us Mars because that was free in the Epic Games Store in November. And okay, so the story of this game is really good, I gotta say. But it has got the most janky character mechanics I have ever seen. The main character is a female protagonist, and she walks around like she's given birth to a small hippo. Like her legs are just like, it's like she's got flippers on when she's walking. It's very janky. There's a climbing mechanic where you have to use picks to climb, and I cannot. I just can't get the hang of it. And that's kind of where I left off with Deliver Us Mars. I actually ended up getting frustrated with the climbing with the picks. So I need to go back to it. But you do have this cute little robot that is like a companion. That's really cute. And you're trying to decipher or figure out what your father has done with this mining operation on Mars, which sounds like it's a bit of an ominous thing, so we'll find out more about that. I have dived back into Overcooked 2 with Jess, and it was so funny because when we first started playing, we were so bad, and we were like, what happened? We used to be so good. It is definitely like you need to give yourself time to pick back up to those keys because it is a whole thing. But now we're pro again, and it's awesome. We made hot chocolates last night. It was fun. And then I joined AC Thursdays with Shalene yesterday, which was a lot of fun. I got to see her Thanksgiving setup, and what else? Bought some things in her store. Got to see Jess's new island changes. And I think I'll segue over to you, Shalene, on your gameplay.
yes, AC Thursday was so much fun. I really look forward to that every week. And it was just a really nice time. It had been a while since we'd really played. And yeah, it was fun going to each other's islands. We went over to Jess's island.
Because like
and,
I haven't played for like since Halloween.
We had a true crime scenario over at Jess's island.
Oh yeah.
She had like a CPR dummy at her island just laying on the ground there. So we had a great time posing for screenshots. Like I held a shovel near the body, and you guys were doing great emotes and stuff. It was so fun. And we bought jetpacks. That was a good time. We bought jetpacks. And just after you left, my island experienced the first snow of the season. So it was beautiful. There were snowflakes gently falling. It was magical.
Do the jetpacks work? Sorry,
They don't. No, they don't. They're just cosmetic.
Oh,
Yeah, but It was still fun.
It would have been cute if there was like little flames coming out of the.
I would have appreciated some flames. Yeah. Definitely needs more flames.
Or at least some smoke.
Mm-hmm. I did play a little bit of Animal Crossing aside from Thursday. I had a meteor shower earlier this week. It was a really good one, and I got some Sagittarius star fragments. So those are pretty rare to come by. I was really excited to get that. And of course, I talked about the Thanksgiving event during the challenge discussion. And of course, this week marks the end of the current season of Fallout 76. We're looking at a big update coming down the pipe next week with the Atlantic City expeditions and a new season. And the stuff from this upcoming season looks pretty fun. I think I may participate in the next season of Fallout 76. So looking forward to that. But that's really all I've got. We were traveling for Thanksgiving. We went and spent the holiday with Archon's family. And like as you said, I've been reading a ton. So that's
great.
That's pretty much it for me.
Well, folks, that is a show. Any plugs or announcements from any of you before I head into our outro?
Yeah, watch the Wasteland Theater Company, and maybe go back and watch the parade. It's up on my YouTube, and really happy. The builders just did amazing. The cast and crew did amazing. A lot going on in Fallout 76 for the 5-year anniversary. So it was great to see the turnout, and I hope people check it out.
Great. Well, this show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee Blend, and $2 from every purchase of that bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget, you can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com or post your mail in the MailStack channel. We are also on Twitter. At We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N, Jessica Starr at Sleep is for T, Sarah at Sarah_Sailor, Sherry at Foxid, and Pantagruelia at Pantagruelia with, I'm going to spell it, Pantagruelia, not as you see it on your screen. Don't forget, we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/WeJustLoveGames, facebook.com/group/WeJustLoveGames. You can also join our chat after dark in the Discord. We love to have you there, even in between shows, which we record live 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. Don't forget, if you miss the live show, that's totally okay. We are a podcast, and we like you to listen after the fact on all podcast-related platforms, YouTube, iTunes, iHeart, Apple, Google, and Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and review the show, and we will shout you out. And I believe Jessica Starr has our last word for this evening. Jess?
I do. Codswallop. As in, it'll be Codswallop if we don't get Baldur's Gate 3 at the Game Awards on Xbox.
Good night, all.
Don't let the alluring voice fool you. I'm a lethal killing machine.
Always believed in freedom of the press.
Excellent work. Quit now, and pay will be served.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy cake? I am the instrument of justice, and I cannot fall. No matter how much you want to give up, don't. You have to have hope. Good hunting. Try not to die.